What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Football Capital. And yes, we are back for our first Premier League review show. I've got the usual suspects back on, and I've got a special guest all the way from Scotland, my man Bits and Bobs. Welcome to the show. It's been a long time coming.
Bro, thank you so much, man. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever everyone's watching. Obviously, you know the slogan, so what? It's your boy Bits and Bobs, and I am on the Football Capital.
Yes,
so, gentlemen,
yes.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure. I watch you guys every Monday, actually, believe it or not, when Bocce drops it. So, yeah, I'm very excited, very excited. More excited than when I saw Mrs. Martial.
Pleasure.
Good to have you.
We might have to edit that one out before Sonia sees it. He's that part. But yeah, look, boys, the Premier League is back. And especially for us, I don't know about Damien's happy too. I know he's happy, but we're top of the table, sitting pretty, looking down. Yeah. What was the song, Bobs? What was the song you're singing?
We got 5 on it. Can we play every week? We got 5 on it.
Yeah, look, lads, what a week of the Premier League. I mean, the first time we've seen full stadiums in God knows how long. How long has it been? Over a year and 17 months.
18 months.
Yeah. First time we've seen a full stadiums. We've seen some of the new signings come in. We've seen the new promoted teams. We've seen... Mate, we're seeing goals, especially at Old Trafford. And let's start at Old Trafford, lads. Bobs, we'll start with you. You were at the game. Leeds United, Man United. We spoke just before the show started how this is a big rivalry, essentially. And once again, Ollie's at the wheel and gets one over Bielsa again. Another 4 goals that we beat him by. Last time 6-2, this time 5-1. So... what are your thoughts being at the game, the atmosphere, also our new signing announced right before the game in Raphael Varane? How was that all for you, man? I know you travelled all the way from Scotland to Manchester.
Yeah, bro.
So how was all that for you?
Bro, to be honest, man, I've got to say, Varane is one slick-looking guy, literally. There's just something about him, man. The suit, when he came on, I was just like, he just looks good. And obviously, I think what it was for the fans and obviously for you guys, everyone actually, he was actually standing in Old Trafford. Like, Champions League Varane, the guy that's won 4 Champions League, a World Cup, and he's coming to play for us. And Bocce, the conversations we've had, I didn't believe it. I was like, nah, it's just gas and stuff. But no, look, the game was unreal. I mean, there's no words that I can say right now that can give it any justification. But like you, I'm a fan. And the first day of the season, and we all know what happened last season, fans are back. We scored 5 goals. Bruno hat-trick. For me, it's like, what have I just witnessed? It was a movie. It was literally a movie, bro. It was a movie that I did not want to stop watching. And Pogba, Bruno, like whoever says they can't play in the same midfield is a liar because they just ripped Leeds apart. But yeah, man, it was brilliant. I was in ecstasy, bro. Seriously.
Penendes, they call him.
Only scores pens. Only scores pens. But yeah,
and Pogba obviously 4 assists, man. That's huge. That's massive.
Rams, bro. Look, 48 goal contributions in 52 games for Bruno. That's the most out of any single Premier League player, I think, since he's come in, obviously. I think it might also be the first hat-trick on the opening day in the Premier League. I've heard that somewhere. I don't know how true that is. And obviously for Paul Pogba, the 7th player in the Premier League to make 4 assists. And I think the first for Man United. So, and this is that all our rival fans were saying to us that he doesn't show up. We've obviously seen bits of that poor Pogba, obviously in patches, but can anyone say anything now? Like, is this the France poor Pogba that we want to see week in, week out, or at least 80% of the season? Rams, what do you think? Does he have to put pen to paper now? Do we have to offer him whatever it takes? Anyone got spare kidneys,
honestly,
spare lungs, bladder?
I swear to God.
Give it all, man. Give it all. But like you said, man, like if we get Bruno and Pogba keep constantly playing the way they're playing as a partnership, it's scary, man. It's it's exciting for us. It's scary for, I think, the teams around us, because having a world-class midfield partnership like the two of them, and like like Bob's mentioned earlier, Fred, and he was saying this off camera, Fred and McTominay's roles are pretty easy, like you said. Yeah, win the ball, find Bruno and Pogba, because when you have players like them, they're unbelievable to contribution towards the team. And then obviously now we have Cavani up front. Obviously he signed again for the season. He didn't play. Sancho barely played. Rashford's injured. Greenwood was on fire. So good to see the kid. And imagine once we're at full force with Cavani in front and Sancho starting week in, week out, Rashford back in the firing lane. Hopefully Martial picks up some form this season. It's looking the goods, man. But I've always said this, man. I know Bruno's the man that everyone speaks about. To me, at their absolute best, Pogba is our man. And I've always said that, and I'll continue to say it. At their absolute best, Pogba to me is a standout, man. And that was him on the weekend, and it proved it. It proved how amazing he is.
Yeah, 100%, man. We definitely like this. If this is the poor Pogba that is gonna show up, he looked. To be honest, man, like I've criticized him a little bit, and it's more so because the actions of his agent, not so much him. But for me, it's like, if you don't want to play for the club, we should let him go, yeah? But we know what Paul Pogba can do, and he's absolutely shown it against Leeds. But Kev, we're speaking about that midfield with Pogba and Bruno there. The McFred burger is back in our midfield. That's something that a lot of us fans didn't want to see. But it kind of did work. I mean, to be honest, they put in a bit of a shift. The first half, for me, the way I seen it, there was at times a hole in the midfield. Maybe because Pogba's role now is, or not so much his role now, but he was out on the left-hand side. We know Bruno almost plays like that Cantona role, that half, what do you want to call it, a half 9 or 10, false 9 almost role. Getting himself in them goal opportunities. But with Fred and McTominay, is this, when Varane comes in, do you think this is the last time we might see him? Or they're still in certain games that we do need these two players to shore it up, maybe in the back?
Yeah, I think, probably the one thing, just a bit, maybe clarify a little bit on the whole Fred McTominay thing. I don't think we're obviously against them. What it is probably, what we don't like is the fact that we're playing with two holding mids, where we could probably get the job done with one really good one
and put another attacking player maybe as well.
Yeah, so you could, because the whole thing was we wanted to get Pogba up the field, right? And push him up, but then we would change tactic because we really want to protect Lindelof and Maguire, because Lindelof wasn't as solid as we'd want him to be. But with Varane coming in, hopefully that it solves that problem. But you saw, and even last season, I should say, we saw that they could get the job done, right? It's not about them not getting the job done, but it's what's going to be interesting is the games where you're not playing against Leeds, who are expensive, are very attacking. Think about the Burnleys. Think about the sort of the teams that are going to let you come to their home and just sit and defend, right? And they want to hit you on the counter. That's always been United's probably Achilles heel over the last couple of seasons, is that we can't break those teams down when they sit right in front of goal. So whilst I was very excited about the result and even better for my fantasy team, because I had Pogba and Lindelof assists left, right, and centre. But for me, what I want to see is that dominance over the next 5-6 rounds against teams who might sit back, and then really see these boys, wield their magic between the two of them, and really, I think put some scare into the rest of the league, because that's probably what we haven't had, the intimidation for a couple of seasons. We haven't had that intimidation that's, oh shit, it's United. We're building towards it, and the weekend was a really good result. And I think, back to your point, we are going to use the McTominay Fred combination at times when we need a result, when we're competing in the 1-2 position, 1-2, sometimes it's going to be good enough to go and get a 1-0 win. And it doesn't have to be pretty. And there's going to be other opportunities where we go to the Brightons, the Burnleys, the Watfords, and absolutely, put on a show. And hopefully, we're all smiles come the review show, on a Monday evening. And Bob's hopefully is smiling every time he gets to go to Old Trafford and see, the Bruno and Pogba show. So, yeah, I think I still think we're short that one striker, but we've got enough to sort of make do for the next season or so with Cavani, Rashford, Greenwood, and the attacking options. It'll be interesting to see how it all pans out.
Seb.
Hey Kev, what about Van der Beek? Like, where does Van der Beek even come into equation in this whole situation?
Dude, man, for me, like, it's tough. It's tough. I was just thinking about it the other day, and I think you and I were sort of talking about when we were watching the game. It was like, where's Lingardinho? You know what I mean? Where's the Lingard of the West Ham, portion of the season they played last season? Where does he fit in? So you've got your Lingards, you've got your Van der Beek, and then you've got your Matic. These are players that, should they be playing maybe outside the top 4 teams, they're starting every week, right? I honestly don't know where they all fit, but I'm loving the fact that we've got so many options, because should something happen, we've got depth. And I think, a lot of people are buzzing, and we will touch on the Tottenham City game. I think Tottenham, whilst they got a mad result yesterday, I think the problem's going to be longevity in terms of depth. Do they have the depth should something happen to their squad?
Yeah, 100%. I think with the squad, you're saying, where does everyone fit in? Remember, man, all it takes is a few of the players to go on a night out, catch COVID, and they're out for 2 weeks. So this is where all these players have their chance now to get into the squad. But Seba, touching on a few points with Kev about trying to break down the low block from some of these, like your maybe Southamptons, your Burnleys and all that. Does Sancho now fix that problem? Even when Rashford comes in, you got the Bruno Pogba. Even if you play with 1-6, whether it's Fred or McTominay, you got more attacking options now going forward, up high on the pitch. Is Sancho maybe that answer to a bit more creativity with Bruno, Greenwood and Cavani? Like these are options we're talking about now to try break down these low block teams.
Yeah, look, I reckon now we will be able to penetrate through them in so many different ways. Our creativity now is through the roof. We were struggling with ideas. You watch them play these teams, and you're just waiting, and they just go on lateral movement, no forward action, and no nothing dangerous. And look, Sancho didn't do much the other day, but when he touched the ball, he moves so much, and he looks so creative doing the little things. It's ridiculous, and he did nothing yet. So like, people are going to struggle with our squad. They're gonna deal with all the speed and the smartness, the IQ of players like Cavani and Pogba and Bruno. So I'm going to see a lot less of those frustrating stalemates going forward, I believe. And while we won't get the 5-1s every week, I think we'll see a lot more like stylish football again. And look, man, you saw the players like Bob's were on ecstasy in that game. Like, they were just so happy. They were feeling the crowd. It was like the first time they'd played there again. So I reckon they want that energy to stay up. Every home game matters, no matter who we play. People will say there's only Leeds that we verse, but Arsenal only versus Brentford, and look what happened with them. And these are the things that we're doing differently now that we didn't used to do just 2 seasons ago, 3 seasons ago. So yeah, I do. I think we'll have 100%. Some success with those games.
And let's throw in Luke Shaw, creative options there. Should we say Luke Shaw? Kev's favorite player. But Damien, looking as a rival, looking in from the outside. Look, I know it's only the first game, and it's not where you are after the first game is not where you're going to finish. But I know a lot of people I've seen, not just here on the podcast, but on other platforms, other YouTube channels. A lot of people didn't give United. Some of them didn't even put him in the top 4. A lot of people didn't put United to make the top 4. Looking at that game, whoever it is, whether it's Leeds or Norwich or Brentford, watching that game, is your opinion kind of changing that United could make a push, or is it for you, as long as Ollie's at the wheel, that United are going to struggle to get any sort of trophy or even come close to challenging for the league?
Yeah, man, looking in like from a rival club, I know it was only the opening day of the season and you're playing Leeds United, but these are the games you need to win to lift the title at the end of the season. I think looking in with the signings that were made, like, you couldn't underestimate United. I think they're a very strong side. Those signings didn't even play on the weekend. So the squad overall, you can see there's so much depth, but it was more, was so much positive football, man. Like every time they got on the ball, they wanted to look forward and play, like hit those forward passes straight away, and it was dangerous, man. Like just looking as a general fan, it was just attractive football, and yeah, United looked dangerous, to be honest.
Yeah, look, even our, not just going forward, even our backline. I mean, we saw Maguire. He's been, since I think we're talking about on while we're playing the pro clubs, that since that incident with what do you call it in Greece, that he's come back strong. He's come back strong from that, and even Lindelof did well. Raphael Varane coming in. We're gonna see what happens with him. With everyone fully fit, boys, especially the United boys. Does Lindelof start, or does he keep starting till Raphael Varane can get into the squad? Because he did play good. He can
start the team bus, bro. Fuck him.
This guy.
No, you know what's going to happen. You know what's going to happen. Obviously, now you mentioned yesterday, Butch, and we're playing pro clubs as well. You mentioned that bringing these players in those positions force other players in that position to lift. So Lindelof had a quality game. Maybe it's because Varane's on the bench. They've made a big thing about this guy that's going to come play centre back, and that's his position. So I think, look, obviously Varane's going to be your first option, man. You bring Varane in, World Cup winner, Champions League winner, 4 times. You know, the list goes on and on. He starts. Yeah, it's going to be him and Maguire together, which is exciting to see. But look, no individual's bigger than the club. If Varane doesn't perform, then Lindelof's waiting. I think that's what it's going to come down to.
Kev?
Hopefully Varane can fix our, sort of quickly just before we move on, just hopefully he can fix the structure when we're defending set pieces, because we almost copped one on the weekend, and De Gea was losing his mind, and it was the same mistakes that we've always been making the last couple of seasons. You know, we lose a lot of those balls in the box, and not even the big guys that win in those, you know. So hopefully Varane can bring that structure and organisation to those situations there. Yeah.
All right, boys. So Damien, over to your boys, Liverpool. 3-0, 3 points. Mo Salah, the star once again in this Liverpool team in this game. Look, watching the game, look, a little bit shaky in the back at times, but Alisson was there to save the bacon for you lot. But look, you got most of your players back coming in. Obviously, no major signings in these games. But how do you look at your team, man? Where are they going into this season? Do you guys still need to strengthen? Yes, I know it's Norwich, newly promoted. But at the end of the day, you got the job done.
Yeah, we did, man. Just quickly, I know you were touching on a Bruno Fernandes hat-trick on the opening day. Salah also did it last season against Leeds. So just so we can clarify that.
Oh, did he?
But
did he?
Yeah, opening day.
Just when I go ahead, fuck your player. Yeah.
It was 4-3 though. It wasn't. But 5-1.
Yeah, starting with us away at Norwich. It was good, man. I was a bit worried seeing the lineup come out. Our middle three was Oxlade-Chamberlain, Naby Keita, and Milner. I was a bit worried. But as the game went on, we kind of, controlled it. We started to play the type of football we're used to seeing Liverpool play. Possession-wise, it was pretty even, to be fair. Like, Norwich did have some chances also. Like, I'm not going to say we pumped them or anything. But it was good to see, like, Salah back on the score sheet, getting some assists. Jota got an early goal as well. And even, like, Bobby Firmino coming on off the bench. Pretty impressive for him to get some goals and confidence.
Who do you see? Who would you like to see start? Jota or Firmino? Because that was a bit of a debate at the start of the game. I know he had was at Copa America. But obviously Jota was at the Euros as well. But who would you rather see start?
Scored.
Yeah, who would you rather see start though? Like, if I know it's a good headache for Klopp to have, but in your opinion, I know Jota's been doing it maybe a bit more even from last season when he came in. But who would you like to see in the lineup?
Yeah, before the lineup came out, I did want Firmino to start. To be honest, I thought like maybe just a bit more experience, if you say, in big games and playing in the Premier League. I thought he's been around. He's probably a part of the leadership group or whatnot, whatever they have there. So I thought just start with Firmino and see how we go. But man, it was impressive. Jota started. He did his role. Like, he's only going to get better. It'd be interesting to see how the two of them cope, because I do think they're going to rotate back and forward. Can they do that? Do they have too big of a personality? That's something we'll have to see, because we've seen that with Salah and Mane before. Like, sometimes when things don't click, it can cause problems for the rest of the team. So problems for Jurgen Klopp if he doesn't keep them in check. But yeah, it's good to have depth, man. That's the biggest thing for us this season. Last year we copped it with injuries, but now we've got depth all over the park. So it was good signs for us first game.
Go on, Rami. Anything about this game?
Oh, yeah. Well, what I was going to quickly say was I've always said this about Firmino. He's not a 9. He should be playing. Everyone always talks about Coutinho. We can't fill that Coutinho role. Firmino is that Coutinho role. I think they both should be starting. And I think that whole weak midfield, that you said that you guys had on the weekend, it was a bit shaky, a bit worrying for you guys on paper. I think if Firmino in between all that would make you feel a lot more relaxed with Jota in front of him. Because let's be honest, Jota looks like more of a goal scorer than Firmino does. But Jota's not a necessarily better player than Firmino. Firmino's quality. And I just think you can see it. Like, I think Jota's been your best goal scorer you guys have signed since Suarez, to be honest with you. I think he looks quality, man. And I think he's going to get better, like you said, every week in, week out. And I think a Firmino sitting behind him who knows the team very well, who knows what Klopp's looking for, can play that 10 role all day, every day behind Jota. I just feel like it would look so good to have him behind, Salah, Mane, and Jota.
Yeah, I do agree, man. I think all the Liverpool players playing FIFA, you do tend to just put Firmino in the 10 position, But the way we seem to line up, or hopefully it changes, or we don't seem to play kind of with that out-and-out 10, if that makes sense. The middle three kind of rotate and each, have their turns going forward or sitting. But yeah, you can't.
But then again, Jota is not really a 9 as well, though.
He did play some time on the wing for us last year, but that's the thing. If you're scoring goals, I guess.
I think his main role is a 9, though. Like, I know what you're saying, Borg. And even previously, before he was at Liverpool, he wasn't always a striker either. I know what you're saying. He was in the mid quite a bit.
Or out wide. I think he was more out wide as well. Yeah. On the left-hand side.
Yeah. But I mean, you even saw him for Portugal in the Euros. He looks the goods in front of goals. If you ask me, man, I really rate him. I don't know what it is. I just rate Jota. I really do, man. I really do. I think
he could convert into that forward player. These players change position sometimes.
Yeah, 100%. When you got a player that can play anywhere in the front line, when you can play anywhere in the front line, that's probably a bonus to a manager. And
you see the 3 of them rotating anyway.
Yeah. Throughout the game, we do see it. Kev, do you want to add in anything to these guys? Liverpool, Norwich.
I was just going to say I like Jota there better than Firmino. Like I'm with Rami on that one. I don't know. It just seems like a different type of player, a bit more refreshed for that Liverpool lineup. And whilst he's not an out-and-out striker, man, he knows how to find that space. Like just the ability. I'm pretty sure he's the one that picked up the first goal on the weekend, right, Damo?
Jota.
Jota,
yes, correct.
Yeah, it was Jota. Yeah. So and even the Salah touch wasn't really. I don't think it was a purposeful pass to put him into that space, but he just read it. He just read it, and he knew he had that instinct. He was there. Where Bobby, I think, is more the guy that wants to provide rather than finding those little spaces, getting in those positions to finish. So, but yeah, look, it was a good result because you got to remember it was away. So even if it was 3-0 result, clean sheet, away from home, Van Dijk comes out unscathed. So it's just going to build momentum from there.
Yeah, 100%.
Just a quick question back to you boys, because the back line has obviously been a bit of a problem for us with injuries and whatnot. Now that we've got Van Dijk, Matip, Konate on the bench, and even Joe Gomez, who do you think would be our strongest centre back pairing?
Look, I want to see how Kiate goes. I mean, you haven't seen how that partnership is, but I think Gomez still deserves that chance, bro. I know they got signings in, but I think Gomez. The year you won, I think was it when you won the league? He was fantastic, and he was playing in different positions as well, filling in when you had to. Maybe I don't know. I don't know how. I haven't seen your new signing play. To be honest, to be fair, I haven't. Was he at Leipzig or was it at Salzburg? One of the Red Bull teams. Yeah. So and look, when we played them in the Champions League. They had Upamecano, we ripped them apart. This guy came in the second game, and we ended up losing that game too. So, I don't know. It will be interesting to see. It will be interesting to see what partnership works. Obviously, it's not gonna happen overnight. But I think Joe Gomez, for me, if in the next game should start next to Van Dijk. That's my
I
opinion.
guess it's a good problem to have, right?
It is,
You've got this many
100%.
options now, so-
100%. Just,
Depth in your back line is so important.
just because it's
And
your
the
one
one
sided.
got this now,
Not
right?
in fantasy league. In fantasy
definitely
league,
not
it's
in
a
fantasy.
nightmare.
Yeah, 100%.
But I'm exactly with Borchi, man. I'd love to see Konate play, but I think Gomez and Van Dijk.
It's not like the United situation where Lindelof has made too many mistakes, can't header a ball. We've seen too many errors in his game.
Gomez has done good for you guys.
That's what I'm saying. It's not like he's done
I agree,
anything to warrant him to be on the bench for this guy. You know what I mean? So it'll be interesting to see. Maybe depending on your injuries, like I don't know if you guys can play a back three. You might have to push.
I don't think we would when you got Trent and Rob.
Yeah, no way,
unless you
Yeah,
push him,
yeah.
you push him and play that like 5-3 whatever formation where they come.
Well, on
come
that
in as
note,
wing-backs.
how did you find the new signing? Is it how do you pronounce the name? Is it
Simicast.
He was there last season.
Oh yeah, so
Simicast?
yeah, he was there with us last season. But yeah, look, he was actually a threat going forward. I thought on the left hand side, I saw Milner slapped him off a bit and gave him heaps for I think losing possession or something like that. But I think he's still young. Like he hasn't really had a chance. When you've got Robinson in form, you're never going to play. But it was good to see him. Like he's going to have 3 to 4 weeks to impress before the international break. And of course, Robinson's probably going to come back in and start when he's fit. But it's another case of like, all right, Milner doesn't have to fill in that left back, even though he can do a job. We do have a left back there, especially when European football comes in. Like, yeah, man, we've got depth. That's the best way I can put it. It's good to see, I think.
Yeah, look, one player that we need, I think, touch on is Mo Salah. Now, I've seen a lot of talk online. He could be. Do you guys think, since his return to the Premier League, that he's probably one of the best, or if not the best, wide forward player in the Premier League since he's returned?
Bro, with the numbers, you can't debate that at all.
You have to say it, right?
Yeah.
Better than Hazard?
Yeah.
Someone like someone like Hazard?
if you talk about wide player only, are you talking about only in the Premier League or
Well, then you
talking
like
about in the world?
No, in the Premier League, since he's come back into the Prem, we say obviously we're not talking about the wingers like 10 years ago. Now they're playing with a front three, that sort of wide player. I know you're right. He does put up the numbers, even though last season, personally, I think Mo Salah had a poor season, but still golden boot thereabouts. You know what I mean?
Yeah, agreed.
That speaks, volumes. Bad season in the running for the golden boot. It's crazy.
Watch out for Jadon Sancho, Damo. Watch out.
Tell him again, Tommy. Tell him again.
Like, when you do look at Salah and his numbers and whatnot, look, I don't know the numbers of Cristiano Ronaldo when he was there, and it's hard to.
I'm just talking about when Salah has come back, not
Like since he's been back.
So 5 years. When did Klopp sign him? 5 years ago, whatever it was, roughly around the time Klopp came in. So when they started,
he's a completely different player.
Yeah, that's right. I'm just talking about that period. But don't mention Cristiano Ronaldo and Mo Salah in the same conversation.
No, right, yeah, fair. I don't know the numbers, bro, but wouldn't be surprised if he's close to him.
100%. He's probably got the numbers. Ronaldo was only there 4 years, I think.
Like when we signed him for whatever the price was, he's now a 100 million plus player, right? He's proven that he's probably earned that price tag. I think, like you'd be lying if you wouldn't want him starting in your team. I don't care if it's Manchester City or anyone. He's starting in every single team in the Premier League. I think that's it.
Hey, Damo, why do you think clubs around the world aren't chasing him?
Honestly, man, I can't answer that. Like, there was a lot of like speculation
Is it Salah?
and whatnot. Yeah, Salah, yeah.
I don't think he's marketable. I'm going to be honest with you. Hear me out, yeah? Do you remember, so obviously Salah's Egyptian, okay? There's not many Egyptian players that we know commercially. Mido, this is my own opinion. I think Mido kind of probably tarnished the reputation for some Egyptian footballers because Mido was, he enjoyed the drink, he enjoyed the nightlife and the food, and I think with Salah, you can get a lot of players that do what Salah does. Play wide, cut in, score goals and stuff. Salah, for me, this is not beef or anything, but I just don't think he screams out, let's go buy him. I think there's other more fashionable, and the way the money's going now, commercially, is Salah gonna get you 5 million subscribers? I don't think so.
What if
are you gonna click on a website to see Salah?
So is it
I
bigger
don't
than the
think
actual
so.
game then?
Hmm?
So it must be bigger than the actual game then.
Yeah, that's
what
what I'm saying. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. So sorry to cut you off, Damien. Though.
No, Shaswan. That's it is an interesting topic, man. The guy wins Golden Boot and no big clubs are out there to sign him. Why isn't PSG in the hunt for him or whatnot a couple seasons ago? But yeah, it's an interesting point.
Rami,
I've always said that the way Salah would fit into a team would be someone like Real Madrid if they were to ever go for him, and only because they've got a huge Arab fan base there. Getting Mohammed on the jersey would sell jerseys out of the window. Honestly, absolutely. Because their Middle Eastern fan base in the Real Madrid is humongous. It's huge.
And to get his first name, that's right. To get his first name on the back instead of Salah.
Yeah, they'll do some agreement with Salah. Say, look, instead of putting M. Salah, let's put Mohammed on your jersey.
Mohammed is the most popular name in the world.
It is the most exactly right. It's the most common name in the world.
Most common name, yeah.
Absolutely. But I know what Bob's is saying, man. Like there are a lot of attacking wide players right now available. And some have that swag, that look, that personality. Where Salah's a no mess player. Yeah, he's humble. He plays the game. You know what I mean? And he does what he does for Liverpool. And clearly, they've won Champions League, Premier League with him, all of the above, and he's been a key player. So, yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. Look, we'll move on. Liverpool, 3 points. What more can you ask for? 3 points, 3 goals. They go on to the next one. They got, I think, early game against is it Burnley at home.
Yeah.
So they're gonna do you again 1-0 there. Nice little penalty. They're going to give you a reminder of what happened last year at Anfield. But that's going to be especially here, kind of prime time for us. It's 11:30 kickoff. Fans back at Anfield, full stadium. Will be good to see how you guys respond there. But look, let's move on to someone like Chelsea. Yeah, they were at home to Palace. Another 3-0 win. A team that's going to, with Lukaku coming in, of course, looking to compete for the league. How do you think that game went? There was a bit of shaky moments for them against Palace, but they got the job done. And it was a great free kick also by Alonso, the forgotten man, Marcus Alonso, with a spectacular free kick there.
Forgotten for no reason, man. Forgotten for no reason.
Yeah, but I think forgotten at the same time because of the depth of that squad. A lot of us probably, if we looked at the squad or obviously the lineup for Chelsea on the weekend, we probably wouldn't have guessed it. We wouldn't have guessed it the way it came out. And then that just talks to the depth of the squad, the options that Tuchel has. And one of the biggest things that I saw after the game was the interview that he did. And how he was talking about obviously Lukaku coming in, but he was just talking about the vibe of the team, and not just anyone was going to make that squad in terms of who they were going to bring in, no matter how high the caliber of player or the quality of the player. They were looking for something specific, and I think they've got a really good culture at the moment, which is going to be scary, man, because it sort of reminds me of the same culture that Liverpool had 2 seasons ago when they ran away with it. It was just that, probably on paper didn't have the best side in the league, but was just hungry to win, and they just knew and they were going to do it for each other. And
it's all about management.
And it comes out in the speech from the manager when he can joke about signing Lewandowski and Haaland and all that kind of stuff, but deep down he knows like the core of the team, and he knows how it's going to operate, and he knows what's required. So they've got the depth. So don't be surprised if you're going to see. And they went on that run of 16 games or something with clean sheets last season. Again, on the weekend, they got the job done, and really their strikers didn't have much to say in terms of putting the ball in the back of the net. It was everybody else around them.
What does Lukaku bring in then into the squad as additional, not just for you, Kev?
Further depth, I think, Borch. I think it's further depth, and imagine having the option of winning the Champions League without Lukaku, then adding Lukaku. Right, it's just I think he's a different player. I know that Rami has spoken very highly of him, more recently, obviously after his form in Inter. We know that the caliber in the Serie A isn't the same as the Premier League, but you still got to give the man some credit. He's going to cause some problems in the Premier League.
Rams,
man, Chelsea have a scary squad if you ask me, man. Like You got Timo Werner playing. Havertz wasn't playing. I'm telling you, people have underestimated Havertz a bit. You'll see him a lot more. Lukaku's coming into this role. You got Pulisic and Mason Mount, who's on fire behind them. But I would not. Chelsea's like one of my favourites to win the league this year as well. To be honest with you, I know we talk about the top four, the obvious four, but man, everyone's talking about City in Liverpool, and Chelsea is very scary, very dangerous. Manager's very hot. He can't lose. He didn't lose last year. They won the Champions League, and here they are now with the Lukaku as their news. So I'm really impressed with the Chelsea squad, if you ask me. And to my point about Alonso, what blew my mind was 2-3 years ago, he was amazing. He was like even 7.5 mil on fantasy, and it was all about him, and he did nothing wrong, and then he gets benched, and now he's back again. I'm glad to see him back, man. He's quality. Alonso is absolute quality.
He can feed Lukaku as well. A lot of balls coming in from the sides. He'll get that service that maybe we talk about he wasn't getting at United. That's a good target, man, and obviously established in the Premier League too.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely.
Even like you mentioned, them players, even Jorginho, man. I think Jorginho had a good game. Like in the last couple of weeks, he's won the Euros, he's won the Super Cup, there was one more thing. What did they win? And the Champions League. Sorry, before the Euros. So do you know what I mean? They have.
Yeah, that's right.
Three major competitions.
Ballon d'Or conversation.
No. Don't put him in that.
Let's not get crazy. Not get Ballon d'Or.
And obviously, Jorginho's come back from, like you mentioned.
Even Kovacic, like you were saying, Ron,
duties on a very high note.
Yeah, even like Kovacic, I think you just mentioned. If you mentioned him in the past as well, Kovacic, he's stepping it up as well.
Quality.
So
they're all quality,
I just worry about their back line. I know they haven't conceded much, and that's maybe due to Kante and Jorginho in the midfield, even Kovacic as well. But I just see when they're up against some pacey players. Give you an example, like your Liverpools, like your Uniteds, that they got speed up front against your Thiago Silvas. I don't know, bro, if they're gonna keep up. They need to get these duels done over the line.
I just love this whole three at the back. I love to see one of the big teams doing three at the back again, because it works wonders. Like Christensen sitting in the back with Rudiger and Chalobah, bro. You've got honestly, Thiago Silva didn't play, Kurt Zuma didn't play, Chilwell didn't play. Like they've got options, man. They've got options.
I honestly wouldn't even start Thiago Silva. Yeah, Reece James too. I wouldn't start
James on the bench.
I would say he's one of the weaker ones of the lot.
Yeah, I wouldn't start him either.
Who's this?
Yeah. Older, he's slower.
Thiago Silva.
Thiago Silva. Yeah.
To be honest, I'm actually quite confident in the Chelsea defense. If I'm a Chelsea fan, I'm feeling good about the season coming up. To be honest with you, they're just stacked from the keeper to the striker.
Bro, you want to talk about depth? I think this is depth, man. Their squad is depth, and it's players that can fill in all around the park. If they were to lose, the thing about Chelsea. You talk about United. If Bruno or Pogba or someone got injured, we'd be scared. Liverpool, if Salah, Mane gets injured, which Chelsea player gets injured are you worried about? I don't see a single one. You can replace every single one of them.
Maybe the
I think
keeper.
it's because
they don't have someone
I don't
amazing.
think it's. Yeah, that's what I was about to say. No one stands out like the Bruno and Pogba do.
But they don't need that.
They don't. That's right. They don't need that.
That's the thing. Yeah, that's the thing. It's a good, healthy squad to have.
That's right.
Everyone's on equal playing fields. There's no outstanding superstar. They're all in it on the same page. I love this squad, man. It's a quality.
They're in a good position at the moment.
My only thing is when you do look at three at the back, right? What happens when they come up against a team like United going forward or Liverpool going forward on the counter?
Yeah.
You reckon that the Premier League's a quick game, man. And when these teams counter,
Even just to throw in Spurs as well. I know they're not a great team, but watching Son and even Bergwijn running at the City defenders, I don't know. I just running at Thiago Silva. I know he's a good defender, but I think teams
Slow.
like that could cause problems. I don't know. I don't know.
No, he's slow.
Yeah.
It could be. It could.
Yeah, but the way that would work is, you got Christensen, Rudiger, and whoever's playing, if it's Chalobah, whoever it may be, three at the back. But then you have Azpilicueta and Alonso who just drop back immediately, and the back three just tuck in.
Yeah, but sometimes Alonso gets caught a lot though. Alonso, that's why
up and down all game.
And that's why Chelsea fans are on his back. They wanted to sell him a couple seasons ago, even last season, because positionally he's just not that aware. Yes, he's good going forward. Yes, good set piece taker. But when you're playing with a three in the back, come on, you need to come back and help out every now and then.
But then can they then revert to a 4 at the back against the big clubs, against the faster paced teams?
I was going to say, Rami, the Tuchel's too smart, man. He's not going to risk it like that against some of the sides. And if anything, he's going to, even if he does go with 3 at the back, he's going to make sure his team's on the front foot against those teams. He's going to make sure that he's going to push the opposition back where they have to stay in their own half. He's I think as a tactician, he's quite smart to use the squad depth that he's got, that he can go into any occasion and go, you know what, you're not playing today. You're going to go sit on the bench because we've got to do something different. You come in and we're going to play a different style. So, and you saw it. You saw their run after he joined them last season. The run that they had at the end of the Premier League and into the Champions League. You've got to pay the man some credit.
But it's what managers do. Managers sign certain players for certain teams. That's the truth. Like I'm watching a documentary. I know it was a United documentary, but I remember Alex Ferguson, when I'm talking to the players, said, "Look, you're not playing for the next 2 weeks because I really need you for the game against Blackburn or whatever it was 3 weeks later." So I think it was to Gary Neville, I believe, or Phil Neville. But and that's the same with players from every club. I'm sure there's players where he's like, "Look, we don't need you in this kind of game. It's a physical game. I need you for the more fast-paced games. Rest up, train. You're playing in 2 weeks, pretty much. Like it's that kind of thing as well."
So Alex did that a lot with Ji-Sun Park. Like
correct.
He was like, we need fish lungs today, man. You're in. You're like, this week it's your game, and then you won't
see him start for another 3-4 weeks.
Yeah.
Well, I think he even regretted not playing him in the Champions League final, Ji-Sun Park against Barca.
Yeah,
I think that's one of his biggest. That's one of his biggest regrets when it comes to football and managing. But
quickly, hey, on the flip side, what's the go with Crystal Palace and Zaha? What's happening there? Are they going to get relegated this year after, they didn't look too promising. Yeah, Chelsea looked decent, but Crystal Palace didn't look that.
Yeah, look, Patrick Vieira has come in.
Together.
Look, they did sell a lot of players. I gave you that list. If we go back, I think it was
the preview. And that's the problem.
They sold a lot of players, man, and they're not bringing enough quality back into the squad. So with Palace, I think even Damo, you mentioned it too, that they're a team that could be not right at the bottom. Yeah, like right at this moment, yes, it could be a shock relegation, but going throughout the season, you might be like, they might be struggling again because it's every season we see it. Even when that Frank de Boer was there, they lost, remember, 7 in a row, couldn't win a game, couldn't even score a goal for 7 games. And it happened the year after again, slow start. But maybe, I don't know, maybe with Patrick Vieira, he's got some sort of plan because I know, was that at Nice when he was there and also in New York? I think he was manager in New York in America. He had a good spell there. So it all depends what he's going to bring to the table. But it's not looking good for Palace, in my opinion. I don't know. I didn't say too much. To be fair, they did have a few spells in the game. When I'll briefly watch the highlights. Or even while playing pro clubs, I had the game on. A few spells, but nothing really nothing serious.
Yeah, but like you said,
like
you said, they lost a lot, but they didn't really get in.
That's the problem.
But they also versus Chelsea. They also versus very dangerous Chelsea.
We're talking Chelsea have to win the league, and maybe that's something.
That's right. It's not exactly that.
Right.
It's even pre-season before the Chelsea game. We were talking about how many signings how many players they lost. And who have they signed? Who have they brought in to replace? Like there's nothing really in the squad. Yeah, all right, Zaha, but the squad doesn't really. Yeah, I don't know. I think they could be in trouble this season. We have to wait and see, but we have to wait and see.
Yeah, for sure.
That's definitely going to be a problem, especially when you got teams like Brentford beating Arsenal. Now, Kev, I think you should have went with your prediction about the relegation battle here with Arsenal. You held back a little bit, but the heart tells the truth, bro. You know where Arsenal are, and the Banter FC is back again for another season, ready to go to all the entertainment.
To this week's episode.
I mean,
and now the fans are gonna be there to shit on them.
Bro, what is that?
Mate, the first thing I did, AFTV. I just wanted to see some reactions. Jumped on Trips' channel on TikTok. I just wanted to see what was going on.
Trips will tell you the same. He's been telling everyone laughed at him, but he was telling you guys for how long? Since Wenger was around.
The manager's got to go. Yeah,
well, he's right. Look who's right now. Like we were laughing, but now everyone.
Yeah,
Kind
but
of,
it feels like they're never going to get this manager thing right. Let's be honest.
No,
Like,
bro.
when are they ever going to get this thing right? They can bring in everyone. It's going to keep happening. There's something deeper that's wrong with the club.
It's on the badge.
No, 100%, and that's what from all these people from AFTV have always said. They've always said that it's the board. The guy's got the St. Louis Rams or whatever they're called now, the Rams in the NFL. Spends all the money on them, and doesn't give a shit about Arsenal. And I think that's one of the main problems.
Kroenke, what they call him?
No, Stan Kroenke. No, yeah, Stan Kroenke. Yeah, that's right.
That's him. Yeah.
And does he own one of the baseball teams? I'm not too sure, but
Maybe, I'm not sure.
all the money's going there when they're not getting the right signings, or they're not getting the signings in time. Like we're speaking about Madison. You know, they want 60. You want to offer them 50. Just make the deals happen. Get these players in and start building your team.
They're taking the piss when they just paid 50 for White.
Yeah.
And he was a statue for one of the goals.
Borges filthy because he had him in fantasy, but I think it's a bit early for. Yeah, I think it's a bit early for the whole, to see what the verdict is on White.
Well, we'll see when Lukaku grabs a hold of him next week, or this week, should I say?
Yeah.
Ben White up against Lukaku.
It's not looking good for them, and I think in the preview episode, I said Arteta will be the first manager to go. And
I think we all agree.
Losing to Brentford, and they've got Chelsea and I think
Liverpool?
City coming up.
City. Yeah, I think it's City. Yeah.
They got Chelsea and City. Come five games in. If he doesn't pick up points, mate, it's game over. But
But the only thing I feel sorry for Arsenal is, like, this is all without Aubameyang, Lacazette,
That's
Pepe,
right.
and Saka didn't play at the same time. Like, I think Pepe and Saka need to be playing both sides. You start, Aubameyang, Lacazette. All this is happening without all these players playing, but it's still not a good enough squad. Like, it's still not.
When you look at that backline, honestly, it was embarrassing to watch just from a general football fan. It was bad, bro. And like, there's not much like against Smith Rowe or anything, but when you give someone like that the number 10, like, come on, bro. You look at the number 10s everywhere around the world, and you got Smith Rowe on the back
I think like he was
maybe in a couple of years' time, but
but I think he was probably like one of their most promising players.
No, I get it. But like when you spend 50 on Ben White, and now you're putting in a youngster as your number 10, it's a lot of pressure for him as well.
Yeah, let it get to the point where he's ready to start every game and be the number 10.
And look, and we spoke about their squad. Their squad doesn't sort of scream at you like we were sort of putting them on par with the Aston Villas of the league. And probably Villa's probably even better than them at the moment.
They got a better squad for sure.
But again, there's no resale value on some of these players, man. So even
that's the
if
problem.
they want to build a bank, there's nothing there. Maybe Aubameyang and maybe a little bit on Lacazette, but still, other than that, there's no money in the bank for them to go and chase somebody and like Borja was saying, rebuild around somebody. It's not there. I'm actually scared for them. I'm scared to see how much of a drop it's going to be, because I don't know what they finished last season. Was it 8th? But like 8th for Arsenal. We used to joke about how their mediocrity was because they just want to finish top 4. Jeez, they're not even playing European football. That's scary.
Bro, you know what? Honestly, when the lineup came out for Arsenal, I read the lineup and I had to question myself twice. Am I looking at Brentford starting 11 or Arsenal's? I had to question myself because I'm like, who are these players like Lokongo and Smith Rowe and Balogun up front and like Murray and White as your centre back partnership? Like, is this Brentford or is this Arsenal? And I'm like, what the hell's going on, man? Like, I feel so bad for him.
First time in the Prem as well.
Was that their first Premier League match ever, right?
Yeah. First time in the Premier League. Yeah.
They made history.
Bob's Banter
100%
FC.
win rate.
Banter FC. What are you saying about Arsenal?
Who?
Arsenal. What are you saying about Arsenal? Banter FC.
Listen, you, brother.
Do you got any spots in the? Do you got any spots in the Scottish League for them? Because they'll fit in.
Listen, they couldn't compete, mate. All I'm gonna say is this, yeah. Shout out my boy Flawless, man. Arsenal, the Gunners, aka Water Pistols. Literally, they're fighting to stay in the top half of football right now of the Premier League. I'm telling you right now, the fact that they're trying to sign Ramsdale, why only God knows. But they're trying to improve their team because Leno's rubbish right now. So for me, I actually think they were set up by Sky Sports personally because I honest to God think that Sky Sports knew they were like gonna just warm everyone up, be like, yeah, let's have a little chuckle before we get to the big teams playing. And honest to God, yeah, I actually don't think they're not even with the top four. I think they've got to be looking at Everton, Aston Villa, Crystal Palace, and them people, because if you think about it right now, yeah, if you look at the next two fixtures, they'll probably lose. So they're going to be rooted at the bottom of the league. Now, when they play against like Watford and that, the cojones derbies, as Flawless says, they're going to be like 6-pointer games. Arsenal need to win, and apparently I've been told now, Aubameyang and Lacazette have ruled themselves out for the Chelsea game. So, and there's been talk about a bus stop. Apparently, they tried to like have words with Arteta, and Arteta was like, "Peace out." Do you know what I mean? So they're going to struggle. 100% they're going to struggle. But it's funny because, it's Arsenal. So, do you know what I mean?
Man, I feel so sorry for their fans. They go through more pain than any fan in any sport, I reckon. Honestly, man, I just feel so sorry for them. But it's funny. Let's laugh at it. It is a bit of a laugh. So
Did you even see Sky Sports had this thing, the overlap with Gary Neville, Keno, and Carragher, where they were talking to some of the fans, as in the social media, like the Full-Time Devils and AFTV, all the people from the social media. And I remember Ty from AFTV was having a go with Carragher, and then Carragher mentioned him in the commentary. He said, "Oh, my friend Ty is not going to be liking this because he's just one of the positive Arsenal fans." And and Bob's, you're right there. They set him up. I swear they did. Put him the first game. Everyone just buzzing for the Premier League to start. Arsenal with taking that first L. But yeah, bro, I swear the Arsenal struggle straight, and I think it's going to carry on unless they sack their manager. And Damo, we were speaking about this last night. When it comes to comparison, obviously the next two managers on the chopping block is Oli and Arteta. Whoever is first to fail, they're on the chopping block. With Oli, there's no more excuses. With Arteta, it's any day now kind of thing, you know what I mean? But like, just because everyone's saying Oli can't win trophies and he needs to win trophies, but Arteta's won a trophy. But they've gone backwards. They won the FA Cup with Arteta. They've gone backwards. At least with Oli, there's progress. Now, like you were saying, the football against Leeds, a lot more positive. But you look at Arsenal, it looks like they were the team that were promoted. They came out from the Championship. That's what it looked like. But look, man, Arsenal, thanks for all the laughs, and please let it continue throughout the season. But boys, our final game, which was probably the match of the week, kind of, if you want to call it, before we quickly scrape onto some of the other games, but Man City and Tottenham, was Tottenham-Man City. $100 million Jack Grealish started. Harry Kane, I think he's on the milk cartons. No one knows where he is. He's still missing.
Not in either starting lineup.
He wasn't in the City lineup, wasn't in the Spurs lineup. What are we saying, boys? Spurs 1-0.
100 million, no assists. 100 million, 0 assists. We bought Paul Pogba for 89 million. We got 4 assists in 90 minutes. That's all I'm going to say. I am running the agenda this whole season.
Jury's out.
Graham Souness, can I swear on this? Graham Souness is a ham roll. He's an idiot. He's also historically, I'm going to say it, he's a racist. He doesn't know it, but he is. How can you say Mason Greenwood was the best player on the pitch? Shut up. But anyway, I know we're talking about those idiots across town. But yeah, they got beat, mate. They got beat. Spurs looked better than Harry Kane. They looked like they had runners. No Harry Kane, no problem. Do you know what I mean? Take up.
I like Bergwijn. Bergwijn's very underrated. Underappreciated, honestly.
I honestly think, this is going to be a stretch, but do you know the Messi problem when people go to Barcelona and Messi was there and people can't excel? I think Harry Kane has that hold or that presence. So, like, when players go there, I've got to give it to Kane, But see, now he's not there. There's movement, there's fluidity, They look happy.
Yeah. Well, it happened like a couple of seasons ago when he was out for maybe like 2 months or so, and Son was the guy up front, and he absolutely killed it. He was killing it. He was getting goals and assists every week without Kane not being there. And Rami, I think we definitely did a video on it about our Spurs better without Harry Kane. We had that conversation. And
Ages ago.
Son looked
Yeah, ages
absolute.
ago.
Like honestly, I'm looking at the City lineup, and I said it before the kickoff. I'm like, they just don't look at. They don't look like a team that you go in and fear. Do you know what I'm?
Doesn't look like.
And you told me,
a
yeah,
champion.
and you're telling
Yeah,
me, oh yeah, but De Bruyne is out, but that's okay. One player comes in, and then I'm still looking at. All right, maybe Ake goes out for Stones, or maybe Laporte, but then that left back position, Mendy is average in my opinion.
But Walker, I don't know why Walker's not playing as well.
Yeah.
Because
Walker
of
can play at
Euros.
the right and Cancelo on the left. And
That's what I think so.
That's
And
deadly.
then obviously Diaz and Stones together in the back, you know. And then once De Bruyne is in there with Fernandinho, Grealish, Gundogan,
Jesus.
whoever it may be, I still think it's a quality team. I think everyone overspoke about Man City, and then when you go look at their lineup, it's like, oh, okay, so it's not an amazing squad. It's a good squad. But absolutely, what you said yesterday to us is like, even before the game started, you're like, bro, this team to me doesn't look like they're going to win the league. Like, and
I get,
it doesn't look like a league-winning team. They can, obviously, they can.
100%.
They're the favorites.
Last year they had a bad start of the season and ended up winning it. But I'm just saying, like,
But there's not that many changes. So why does it look so different to you?
I don't know, bro.
With the addition of Grealish.
That's I don't know, bro. Even if De Bruyne's in
strange,
that,
isn't it?
Well, to be honest with you, Bernardo Silva was a huge player last season.
But he wants
still
out.
there.
But he didn't start.
Yeah, but he didn't play. He didn't play.
Yeah, but
De
bro, you
Bruyne
can't fit them more in the midfield. You can't fit all these players in the midfield.
There was a lot of disruption. I think there was a lot of disruption to that starting 11. Like it's one thing to say, you know, the squad wasn't good enough, or the starting 11 wasn't good enough, or didn't look strong yesterday. But that's not normally the 11 that goes out. Like if you look at the lineups from last season, with the exception of Aguero, I think he only played 7 games anyway. But that's not the 11 that they started with every week in, week out. And once they gel, that's the problem. The problem is you can't stop the machine once it's moving. It's still slow. It's still early
but okay,
days.
I get it. I know it's early days, but last week you lose the Shield. I know. Oh, it's only the Community Shield. But there were City fans were claiming it as the quadruple and whatever they won, whatever they're calling it when they won that. So you lose your first cup competition or trophy before the season even begins against Leicester. Didn't score a goal. Here in the same against Spurs, who both teams, Leicester and Spurs, we've all picked won't be making the top 4. So it's theoretically they lost to 2 teams who are out of the 4.
Yeah,
and I get it. I get them. I get when these players come in, but I just think I don't know. Like I'm watching them play, and I'm like, why are Spurs that we gave them no chance, no hope? Dele Alli is like Dele Alli was like a player from 5 years ago.
I'll give you my opinion because the one thing with Tottenham, right, is they don't have a squad to go the whole way. That's they're going to fall short. That's the difference between Tottenham and your City, is that they don't have depth to continue the whole way through the season. That's only in my opinion, right?
Chuck an injury into that.
Yeah, chuck an injury to Son, and that thing falls apart, right? And there's like right now, Lucas Moura wasn't starting games last year every week in, week out, or last season, but he is now because obviously Kane's moving on, Son moves in, and then Moura follows in. But one of those guys gets injured, and it's game.
What a player Son is that! What a player, but what a player.
They have the depth, and for City, I think whilst we're saying it's just Tottenham, which yes, rightfully so, I don't think they'll make the 4. It's also Leicester. They're tough. They are tough teams, and I don't think there's been much of a preseason to get everyone working together. Once the machine starts moving, man, it's a totally different story.
All right, Pep needs to move on, man. His same story is going on and on.
PSG sounds good.
Bob's anything?
Yeah, right.
When watching the game and you saw Grealish, do you think I don't know, man, maybe right or wrong here, but I think Grealish did what Grealish does, right? Run out players at pace and draw fouls. He gets fouled probably every 10 minutes of the game. But I think it was a bit disruptive for City.
Yeah.
I think it happens too often. And I know you can put whatever price tag you want on him, and that just increases our expectations. But I think he has something like 15 goals and 16 assists last season for Villa. Like, if he does that for City, I think that's a bang average season for his price tag. So I don't know if we're just expecting too much, or if it's just this is what we're going to see week in, week out from him.
Again, it's the price tag thing, like we spoke about last night. Yeah,
because
the fact that the price tag's there, that's what puts the heavy focus on him. If he was 40, like what Borche said to me last night, then you're thinking, oh, beautiful signing. But it's 100, so it's like, oh, do they need a centre mid for 100?
Jack Grealish give them anything extra in that team that won the league last season?
Maybe not this season, but Bernardo Silva's going to leave. Gundogan, he's okay, but he's not. He has spells.
Good,
he had a crazy season last year.
Yeah, but he has in spells. But in spells, he had a good 6 weeks, and then he went back to being Gundogan because there's other players.
Grealish is a long term as well.
That's what I'm saying to you.
The thing is, the price tag, like we said, is going to put pressure on him, and I think he's going to take a little bit of time to adapt to the one touch. He's not the focus anymore that he was at Villa. Villa were happy to have him have the ball for a lot of the time, but City won't play that game at all. And like what I saw, I know it's a good thing to win fouls for your team, but it was disruptive, like Damien said, that he's playing at a different pace to the rest of the players around him.
I don't think City want fouls outside, around halfway. I think Villa will knock the ball into the box and win headers and whatnot. Exactly right.
He's got to learn the system. He's got to learn the system.
What happens with City, man? It's still early days, obviously, but who knows, man? It's so hard to tell. I think they should have obviously beat Tottenham in the first week. Obviously, with Tottenham, no Kane and whatnot, they should have obviously won. But
it looked like
one random thing. One random thing that I was thinking about as well is maybe Fernandinho playing centre back was good for him.
Well, they have Laporte. They have Laporte on the bench.
Laporte and exactly.
I say
Laporte is the one.
Laporte's a player.
Is Fernandinho better than him at that role? Because you know what, he was there last season. They won the league.
I think Fernandinho he's still okay, but not long left. I don't think for him. He's got one more season there, I think, and that's about it. Laporte, because he's not starting, he wants out. So there's already rumors of him leaving. Plus, you got other players already. Like I know they're only rumors, but it could be disruptive in the dressing room. But
Laporte changed countries. He's not going to stop him changing clubs.
Yeah.
So
let's get him a backup.
But you know how Pep said that Bernardo wanted to leave. That usually picks up traction as well with the other players in the club, and then all those stories will keep coming out. And I think City will hold on to Laporte, and I think Laporte will play a lot of football this season, and it'll be a big part of the team.
I think they'll need him. Him next to Diaz, they can build a good partnership.
Too much.
When you got Ake and Mendy playing. Like Mendy's played maybe 3 games throughout his whole City career. And you're putting him.
But that's your back four, yeah. That's your back four. You play Diaz and Laporte, and you play Cancelo and Walker on either side. That's a quality back four, bro.
For me, that's very strong.
Yeah. What do you do with Mendy, Ake, Stone?
But they can sit on the bench, man.
Rotate, bro. You know how big a squad you need to win all the trophies that they win.
Sorry, but that was my point. My point is that's how you have that many combinations. You can absolutely do whatever you want. Yeah,
that's right. Yeah.
But to me, it just looked like both teams were missing Harry Kane. I know Spurs got the goal and got the win, but both teams were missing someone like Harry Kane. And I think for me, I know it's only 2 games, but honestly, City need a striker. They do, bro.
They need a striker.
If you can't get Kane, get Haaland. Bro, splash the cash, Lewandowski. You need a quality striker. Calvert-Lewin. I reckon Calvert-Lewin can do a better job than anyone that they got at the club at the moment. With City.
I hope they buy Calvert-Lewin, please do. But Borch, do you think that it's panic time for are the fans panicking at this moment in time, or what? It's a bit too early for that, right? They shouldn't be too concerned at the moment.
I don't know, bro. Bobs, how's it looking across your end over there? Man City fans, are they stuck in the mud, or they're fine with this start? They lost last week in the cup.
I think. Can you guys hear me? Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I think for me, it's like
I'm getting a bit of feedback, Bobs.
Yeah, 2 seconds. Let me just put this.
He's already making transfers. He's trying to get.
Yeah, sorry, man. No, apologies. I'm on a BBC course, like production and broadcasting, so I've got to try and listen at the same time. But yeah, no, I think Man City will be fine. Look, we know how they play. They're very. They always try and pass teams to death. Listen, they'll come good. Listen, Tottenham defended well for once. I personally think it was a one-off game. I'm not going to lie. Because Pep will see that, like, okay, I take a few little things. You know, he put the poster boy on Jack, 100 million, done nothing. And then you saw what happened. He reverted to KDB. And, you know, I think if KDB got probably longer, he might have been able to instrument something. I mean, everyone says if they get Harry Kane and stuff, but like they won the league without a central forward, and I just think, why get Harry Kane now? We can get Haaland for half the price next season. It just
We want him.
as a business and as a football club, it doesn't make any financial sense, you know. And also, you could pull the strings of Haaland playing for City, blah blah blah. But listen, money talks. We all know that.
And it's Real as the agent. I don't think
I'd sit on Arsenal's bench for 10 grand a week. Do you know what I mean?
Well, I'll give them water if they want.
Water boy.
Man, but you know what? To your point, really quickly. I've always said the same. Like they won it last year with Jesus. Aguero was on the bench the whole time. They did it anyway. But the counter to that is now the other clubs around them are stronger than they are last season, I believe. And they didn't get stronger. Like adding Grealish to your squad doesn't make you better.
Don't you think the same?
I just think. Sorry, Bocci.
Don't you think the same thing kind of happened with Liverpool, where you struggled to beat them, but they're playing the same football, where eventually it catches up. Where now you can say, yeah, they didn't play with a striker, but now this season, the defenses are going to know, yeah, if we just hold Jesus, he's not doing anything. If we hold Torres, he's not doing anything. Where before you had Mahrez cutting in, Sterling was in a bit of form. You had David Silva that was pulling the strings in midfield. All these players are slowly starting to filter out. And even though like they won it with De Bruyne, without De Bruyne the season before Liverpool won it, yes. But I just think it comes to a point where eventually you're going to need these players. And I think if they don't get a striker in this season, they're not going to repeat what they did last season. I can't. From what I've seen,
But I hear what you're saying, right? But you need to remember that, right?
They could have got Ings for 20 mil.
Tottenham players would have had something to prove. The game yesterday was a bit more than the Harry Kane situation because you've got a club that are basically, it's the Harry Kane club, isn't it? Harry Kane makes that team, and you've got other players thinking, well, actually, no, I don't need Harry Kane to perform. So they had a point to prove. And with City, I think City just expected, the Spurs will beat them, we'll get a couple of goals and stuff. But, the funny thing about that, Spurs probably won't play as good as that again this season, going on previous history. I hear what you're saying about Liverpool. I can see what Pep's trying to do. Pep's like, if I can win this league without a striker, what can I do if I had a certified striker? Do you know what I'm trying to say? And I just think that let's not look at that game for City, We will, but let's not, say they're going to struggle. I think if they get Harry Kane, cool, but Pep must be thinking, why should I pay 150 million when I could get Haaland, younger, fresh, more mobile, Can you imagine, I say marketing, can you imagine the commercial? Can you imagine the new generation of fans that they'd attract?
I get what you mean, but I think because Pep and Mino Raiola, they hate each other's guts, so that could be why he's not going in for Haaland. And that's why there hasn't been any. I know what you mean. That if you're looking to win the league and you need the players, bro, you get whatever. You put all that bullshit aside. I get it, but I don't know, man. I think to be honest, they need any strike. Get what's his name, Callum Wilson from Newcastle. He can do a better job of what anyone's doing at your club at the moment. Let's be honest. Anyone, Danny Ings was 20 mil.
If they put it on the money, you've got to score. As much as I don't really like bigging up Kane, his conversion rate, listen, in the box, outside the box, headers, left foot, right foot, half volleys, man, you got to give him his flowers, and it'd be ridiculous. Can you imagine if Kane just stays in the box for City? Just does a little shuffle. Do you know what I mean? It does make sense, but I don't think it makes sense for that price.
Man, in last season, he was top goal scorer, top assists together.
Exactly. That's playing DM, mate. Do you know what I mean?
That's it. Absolutely.
But yeah, look, before we wrap it up, a few other quick results. Obviously, Burnley, Liverpool got them next week. They went with a loss to Brighton, Everton. Anything special, you guys see from Everton against Southampton? I know Southampton lost a lot of players and looking to go down from
they came back.
Yeah, with Calvert-Lewin grabbing a mad goal there at the end.
Look, I think it was good for them because their key players picked up goals. Doucouré, Richarlison, Calvert-Lewin, all big goal scorers. And it was good to see Doucouré score, man. That celebration.
And Benitez getting his first win at Everton. Leicester City 1-0 over Wolves. To be honest, I expected more goals from this game, but only the 1-0. Jamie Vardy, who else for them?
At it again.
What a finish, though.
And Watford, the newly promoted team, beating Aston Villa with Villa, all them signings. Looks like Jack Grealish did mean a lot to them. Obviously, losing again, I think they'll bounce back, Villa, from this game. But look, like Bobs was saying, the Cojones FC got the 3 points in that one. But yeah, look, guys, we'll wrap it up there. Good podcast. Bobs, thanks for joining us. Where can we find you? Obviously, your YouTube channel, Bits and Bobs. Can you hear me?
Yeah, listen, thank you so much for having me on, man. Literally, sorry I had to dip in and out, guys. But
all good.
hopefully we can stay online and have a good chat and stuff. Bits and Bobs on the YouTube channel where you will see Bocce. And hopefully, guys, we can establish a relationship where we can all jump on, get the timing right and stuff, and have a chat,
Can
see it on YouTube.
Can we
Twitter
confirm?
as well, but
can we
please make sure
confirm
you
our watch
subscribe to
along?
the Football Capital.
Can we confirm our watch along for the Southampton game?
Yes, we can.
There you go, watch along on Bits and Bobs channel. So make sure whoever's watching, if you want to jump on the watch along, catch us over there. For the rest of you clowns, it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. Rami, Damien, Seba. Maybe I'll catch you guys soon on our pro clubs.
Yeah, straight onto it, man. Straight
I'm
on.
in the lobby already, bro. I'm in the lobby already.
5 minutes, bro.
Bobs, you gotta get,
I'm already waiting, man. My players are standing there.
Bobs needs to get himself a PlayStation, PS5, PS4, so he can jump on as well. Get rid of that Xbox.
Xbox? No, joker.
But look, guys, like always, thanks for watching. I know it's been a long podcast, but hey, Premier League is back. It's been the first round. There's been some cracking fixtures.
No draws.
No draws. No, that's what we want to see. We want to see more goals, no draws. VAR was absolutely fantastic. Let's give.
Bro, and another mention. Shout out to VAR.
Shout out to VAR. He's done his
You're
job.
the real MVP, VAR.
Real MVP.
Don't speak too soon, bro. I'm sure they'll fuck something up.
Yeah, they're going to fuck something up soon. Don't worry about it.
But yeah, look, guys, for the rest of you, make sure you like, share, subscribe, leave all your comments in the comments section. Let us know what you guys think about the games. Boys, I'll catch you guys soon on the next one, yeah? Take it easy.
See ya, boys.